Bom dia, pessoal. Hoje estamos dentro de uma oficina, agente Kawasaki e agente Suzuki. É uma oficina que faz inspeções a motas, pois em Inglaterra nós não temos entidades, como é o caso das entidades que fazem fiscalização, neste caso os centros de inspeção independentes. São mecânicos credenciados dentro dos próprios agentes das marcas. Inclusive, são eles que fazem a fiscalização e são eles que certificam se as motas têm inspeção para durante um ano. Neste caso, vamos estar a falar com o responsável máximo do agente em Ipswich, que nos vai explicar um pouco sobre como é que os MOTs, e neste caso a designação em inglês é MOT, se processa aqui no Reino Unido. Well, thank you for the time you give it to us. This way, one thing I want to explain about is the question about the fact of the MOTs in here. Your position in the Orwell is sales manager also, and this way, can you explain to us the thing of you only have a manager of the MOTs?
Okay.
Correct?
That's correct. So I am the authorised examiner, designated manager, also. So my responsibility is to manage the MOT process.
One thing I got to start with, for one of the questions is, in your opinion, you think the fact you have the MOTs, because you already have a long time of years, the MOTs in England, can you have effect on the road?
On actual road safety?
On the road safety?
I'd say there's probably an element, a small element of road safety that improves road safety. But it has to remember that a motorcycle will only pass an MOT at a moment in time. As soon as it goes back outside the door, there could be other influences that affect road safety more than perhaps the MOT. But I would say it certainly improves it a small amount.
This way is not make a big difference.
I wouldn't say it makes a huge difference, but it will make a difference, particularly on the smaller bikes.
On the smaller bikes?
Smaller bikes that maybe are not maintained at the same level as perhaps people who own bigger bikes.
Is one thing I got to ask, is when you have in here the MOTs is for all the bikes since lower class with 15, like you can have in here,
yes,
and you can show in the little moped.
That's right, yes.
And until the big ones,
yes.
Or is only for 215 cc's,
no.
And until the big
it's
ones.
for all bikes, whether they're 50cc or 1400cc, they all have to have an MOT, whether it's a class 1 or a class 2.
This way you don't have any difference. All of them need
all
to
of them
have
an MOT.
to stay on the
Yep.
But another thing is about the safety on the road is, in your opinion, what is the most can say guilty between accidents in the cars and the bikes?
Okay, well I'd say in general, the majority where an accident involves a collision between a bike and a motor vehicle, I would say in the majority of situations the guilt would be with the car driver, the motor vehicle driver. And it's maybe because motorcyclists tend to have probably a higher level of concentration because they are that much more vulnerable than, say, somebody driving a motor car.
One thing I would do say, you think it be the policy to have the most important role to check about the bikes instead of only the MOT?
Okay, so in other words, so from a general maintenance point of view,
yes,
yeah. So it's very important that the bikes are maintained to a level. If you look at actually in terms of the level of when you're having a bike serviced, the level of Maintenance will be up here somewhere. The level of an MOT, the standard for an MOT is probably down here somewhere. Okay, if we're looking at it in terms of a vehicle, you know, right at the bottom level is a vehicle that's basically just scrap or a brand new vehicle. So you'd probably say that if somebody's having their bike maintained regularly by, you know, in accordance with the manufacturer's servicing schedules, that bike at that point in time, whenever it's serviced, will pass the MOT because it's a lower level.
Because you only make the MOT in one moment.
Yes.
You don't go follow the guy all the time to see if the conditions of the bike maintained.
You could have a bike MOT here. You could ride it out of the shop, out of the showroom. You could have a tyre get split by a nail or a manhole cover, something like that, and that bike would straight away, if it was brought back, would fail the MOT the second time around. So there's it's only a point in time. It's only while it's been inspected by the MOT tester and it's had the inspections and it's signed and it actually has the MOT issued. It will pass the MOT at that moment in time.
One thing is, and I want to ask, is the fact of, you think it make a sense for you if instead of, because you have in here the mechanics, and mechanics you have all the knowledge about the motorcycles, and you have upgrades, you have refresh about the motorcycles. Make any sense if the MOT start to pass in the independent company with someone don't have the same level of your experience, experience
of
mechanics?
The MOT tester, I'm an AEDM, the Authorised Examiner Designated Manager, but I couldn't do an MOT test on a bike, because I haven't got the level of training in mechanics that would be needed to do that test. So the guys in here who also maintain the motorcycles, in accordance with the manufacturer's schedules, are also the MOT testers as well. So they know exactly what they're looking for in terms of typical faults, and on particular models as well. You know, if a particular model of bike might have a specific fault, so it might, although they're always following a set routine of what they need to actually inspect in terms of the MOT, there are certain things on certain bikes that maybe cause problems. And the DVSA, they issue special notices periodically, which all MOT testers need to familiarise themselves with. So if there's specific issues with particular models of motorcycle, there might be a specific notice that comes out that they need to familiarise themselves with.
I got to finish with this because you haven't here a 15. Can you show the place to make the MOTs in here?
This is a bay here. This is the MOT testing bay. It's marked designated on the floor. We have the brake rollers at the end, which are under those covers. We have the headlight alignment tester up here. So any inspections need to happen within this particular area. Over here we have the dials you see on the wall up there. They are they're to test the brakes. So the rollers, the rollers will rotate the wheels with the MOT tester sitting on the bike. They squeeze the brake and they'll check what the resistance is to the braking force to check that will actually pass. And they do that for both the front and the back wheels.
But always is a mechanic of motorcycles, not someone.
Yes, there has to be a nominated
and to have all the skills and all the
absolutely.
all the knowledge about the bikes.
Absolutely.
And this particular bike, where you can see in here, is this particular bike failed.
Is it possible?
This particular bike we have in here is already failed the MOT for some reason.
It's had an MOT, but just literally in the last half an hour, and it's failed because it's got a cut in the tyre.
And this is a small bike in comparison to the big ones we have in there.
Absolutely.
Because you have a lot of bikes in here. And be after all a small one, where is most dangerous, because normal you have the younger kids.
Typically the smaller bikes might be ridden by perhaps motorcyclists who are still learners, who perhaps don't have the same mechanical knowledge that somebody who rides perhaps a bigger bike, so they might not necessarily know what they're looking for. You also get the situation where a lot of the smaller bikes might be used for commuting, they might be the only source of transport, and therefore you know, they're ridden in all weathers and perhaps do higher mileages. So they, from that point of view, they should really be maintained at a higher level, and that's not always the case. Perhaps people are using as their only means of transport. Younger people might not have the same, you know, might have as much money that they can, you know, to maintain the bike. So there may be corners to cut sometimes. We'd obviously always recommend that they have them serviced regularly according to the schedules.
One thing I want to finish is you have the MOTs, but in certain bikes and all the bikes is if you don't fail straight away. In certain things you have kind of advisor.
Yes.
In the MOT.
That's right.
You don't go to fail because you see like a lower level on the tires.
That's right.
You don't go to fail straight away the bike.
It might not necessarily fail the MOT at that point in time, but the advisory is given because there's a very good chance that the particular fault or issue might deteriorate in the period between the MOT you're taking through to the next MOT. So during that period, there's a very good chance that will fail. So it enables the owner of the bike to think, okay, the tyre passed the MOT, but it's quite close to failure. So therefore, I might need to think about changing that, you know, in the short term rather than the longer term.
Can be the tyre, can be a
It could
chain,
be anything. It could be brake
can
pads.
be brake pads.
Yeah, it could be.
This way, you don't fail you don't certainly fail the bike only because you have a little issues. You're more the advisor.
It's an advisory, yeah. So there's the DVSA have a it's specific wording. It's not wording that's made by the tester. It's specific wording, and it will say the brake pads maybe are at a level, although they're passed, they're at a level that would need changing in the very near future. And that might need to be considered. A lot of people, if they get advisories, they'll probably say, let's just do them now, just so I know I'm assured that, you know, it'll be fine for the period until the next MOT.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time.
No problem.
And this way, try to show to the Portuguese the difference between the England, where you have the MOTs already from almost 15 years after second
1960.
1960 in this way, and the difference between here and where Portugal want to start with a very different way.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, no problem.